Good morning. The following Zoom session is being recorded and will appear later today on my YouTube channel, Math with Mayo. There are two different classes that may be observing this session. Therefore, when you participate in the Zoom meeting, if you do not wish for your picture or your name to be made public, please leave the video off and use an alias name. If you have questions during the meeting but not wish to speak, email me at bmayo@ybcc.edu and I'll respond as soon as I can. I've got a frog in my throat. Alrighty, so today we're going to go on and take a look at section 1 or objective 1B. But before we do that, does anyone have any questions over yesterday, rounding off decimals, whole numbers? Any questions, anybody? All right. So what I want to look at today is vocabulary of mathematics, some basic words that mean certain things so that when we read a sentence that's all words, we can translate it into mathematical symbols and then go on from there. Let's start with the first operation, which is addition. Can anybody think of a word or a word phrase that means addition? I'll get us started. An example is the word plus. I could say 7 plus 3, okay? 7 plus 3, okay? So that would imply addition. Anybody think of any words or word phrases that imply addition?
Sum.
Sum, excellent, okay. The sum of 3 and 7 is 10. Great, sum, okay. Any others? Anybody? Okay, well, how about, in fact, sum is more likely to be sum of, you'd say the sum of 6 and 3 or something. How about the word total? The total of 4 and 2 is 6. So total implies addition, okay? What about increased by? Increased by. 7 increased by 3 would be 7 plus 3, which is 10. And then, of course, perhaps the obvious one, added to, okay, addition, added to. 6 added to 7 is 13. My voice is in great shape today. Oh, and then how about this? More than. 7 more than 3 would be 3 plus 7. So here we have some words or expressions that imply addition. Any question about any of these examples before I go on? All right. So let's say, for instance, we have 15 more than 7. So 15 more than, we've got more than something, so we're starting with the something, so we've got 7 plus 15. 15 more than 7. Any questions about that translation? All right, how about 61 increased by 42. So 61 increased by 42. Any questions about that example? So we've got what? More than, increased by. Let's see here. 8 added to 7. So 7 plus 8. Now, why don't I write 8 plus 7? And actually, we say that addition is commutative, which means that you can add two numbers in any order, commuting, driving back and forth. The commutative property of addition says that you could take 7 plus 8 or 8 plus 7 and get the same answer in both cases. But the reason I wrote it this way is it says 8 is added to something. Well, to add 8 to something, you have to have the something to start with, right? That's why I wrote it this way. But if you wrote it this way, it would still be correct with addition. All right, let's see. Added to, what did I use here? Increased by, more than, trying to get all examples here. All right, now, when there's a number that we don't know what it is, we assign that number a variable. That is, we use a letter to represent an unknown number. X is the most common variable used. So in our examples, we'll let X be the variable. Let's say I've got this, X plus 4. So translating that into, oops, wait, I should have done this. I should have written this, X plus 4. So translating it into mathematical symbols, it would look like that. Any questions about that one? Okay. And let's see here. The total of 7 and a number would be 7 plus X, the total. All right. And I can't do anything more with that to simplify it because I don't know what X is. And it's not an equation, it's just an expression. All right. Now, so let's go back here for a minute and review. So here are 6 examples of vocabulary words or phrases that imply addition. Let's take a look at some phrases that imply subtraction. Okay. Anyone have any examples they'd like to throw out there?
Minus.
Minus, excellent. Okay. So 7 minus 3, or a number minus 2, or 12 minus a number.
Takeaway.
Takeaway, okay. So you might say 7 take away 2, 7 take away 2.
Deduct.
Deduct, wow. No one's ever mentioned that one before, that's great. So probably be like deducted from, I suppose. So like maybe, well, let's see, deduct from. I suppose you could say 2 deduct 1, but maybe more likely you'd say 6 is deducted from 5. Or no, let's keep with positive numbers. Let's say, how about this? 6 is deducted from a number. So 6, we'll say 6 deducted from a number. So deducted from means we're starting with the number and then we're deducting 6 from the number. Now be careful because you might write this expression like that and that would be incorrect. Subtraction is not commutative, though addition is. And you're deducting it from a number, so you're starting with a number. Okay. Any other examples?
Less than.
Less than, excellent. Less than. So we could say 2 less than a number, and that would be X minus 2. Less than, you're taking it away from something. Okay. Any others?
Subtract.
Subtract, okay. So let's see, how about this? 3 subtract 2. So that would be what? 3 minus 2. Now, notice this though. If I wrote 3 subtracted from 2, that would look like this. Notice the order switched. 3 subtracted from something, you're starting with the something and then subtracting. Addition, because addition is commutative, you can write it in either order, and I'm going to say you can get away with it. With subtraction, it's not commutative, so you can't get away with it. You have to be really careful which order it's in. okay? So here, we do it in the order it's given, but here and here, it's reversed from the order that it's presented. 2 less than something, 3 subtracted from something. You're starting with the something, okay? So that can be tricky. Let's see, trying to look back at what we had. Takeaway minus, how about the difference of? So the difference of y and 6. So that would be y minus 6. Difference of, okay. And I think we did less than, let's see. Oh, we could also say the difference between y and 6, which would also be y minus 6. Let's see, we did subtracted from, decreased by. How about this? Y decreased by 6. Okay, so again, we've got a bunch of different words or expressions that imply subtraction. And we need to get acquainted with this vocabulary so that ultimately when we have a story or a story problem or an application problem that's all words, we can translate it into the appropriate symbols and then go on from there. Okay, let's see, we've done addition and subtraction. Next up is multiplication. Anybody, any examples of multiplication?
The product of,
Product, okay, and somebody else said something? Times, okay, so we've got product of and times. So the product of, we could say the product of 6 and a number. So that would be what? 6 times x or 6x. I don't know if I need to talk about this, so I will anyway. Multiplication, when we're taking a number times a variable, like the x, we can just put the number in front of the letter and put them next to each other. The number in front is called the coefficient of, in this case, the coefficient of x. Okay, 6 tells us how many we've got. X is what it is we've got. We've got 6 of them. You could also use a dot, but because x is a most commonly used variable, we need to get away from what we may have used in arithmetic in the past. Let's say you've got 6 times 4, which is 24. Okay, but now it's like, oh, is that a multiplication symbol? Multiplication symbol, or is that a variable? And so we can either use a dot in place of the multiplication symbol, or in fact, it is a multiplication symbol, or we could put parentheses around one or both of the numbers. When 2 sets of parentheses are next to each other, multiplication is implied. All right, that was a lot to swallow. We okay with that? Let's go back and let's look at the word times. We could say 3 times a number, which would be 3x. All right, so we've got times and product of, and let's see, times and product of. Any other ideas? How about multiplied by? 7 multiplied by 6. So that would be 7 times 6. Okay, or 7 times 6, or 7 times 6, or 7 times 6. But we'll avoid that. Not that it's wrong, but it will lead to confusion with variables. Okay, Another one that you may not think of, there's a song, it's an old song, at least to you folks, by Lionel Richie called, well, it goes once something, three times a lady. Anybody? What word did I leave out?
Twice.
Twice. What does twice mean?
Multiply.
By what?
The number?
Okay,
Two.
what?
2.
Two, right. So twice. So if I say twice a number, that would be 2 times x. Here's another one. Let's talk baseball. Players up to bat, hits the ball, and they make it all the way to second base. So you'd say they hit a
Double.
double. What does it mean to double something?
Multiply by 2.
Right. So twice something, double something. What if you made it all the way to third base? Then you would hit a,
Triple.
and what does triple mean? Triple the number 7. What would you write? Triple the number 7. 3 times. Okay. All right. You didn't know that Lionel Richie was a math expert, once, twice, 3 times. Okay. All right. Sorry. I got a music degree before I got a math degree. So I've got all these songs bouncing around in my head and sometimes they fall out, and you have to suffer for it. Okay. Finally, division. What about division? Anybody?
Divided by.
Excellent. Divided by. So you could say 6 divided by 2. Now, how could you write 6 divided by 2? You could write it 6 divided by 2, or you could write it 6 divided by 2, or you could write it 6 divided by 2, right?
Right.
In each
Yeah.
case, the 6 is called the dividend, and the 2 is called the divisor. Oops, would help if I could spell. Divisor. Okay, so you've got a dividend and a divisor. The way that I remember, most people, if I ask you for the 2 words, you'd eventually come up with dividend and divisor, but you might not be sure which is which. Let me ask you this, and don't overthink it, okay? What does a counselor do? Just give me a 1-word answer.
Counsel.
What does an advisor do?
Advise.
So what would a divisor do?
Divide.
Divide, okay? Which number is doing the dividing, the 6 or the 2?
The 2.
The 2, so it's the divider, the divisor. So the other one must be the dividend. See there? Okay. Just so you know, if you haven't figured this out, I pretty much have a stupid story to help you remember everything. So if you like stupid stories, you've come to the right place. All right. Now, let's take all of this and put it together and look at some slightly more complicated examples. Let's say I have 52 more than 3 times a number. All right. So the key phrases here are more than and times. What does more than mean? What symbol? What operation?
Addition.
Addition. Excellent.
Yep.
What does times mean?
Multiply.
Okay, so we've got 52 more than 3 times a number. And this is not wrong, but a more literal translation would be this. We've got 52 more than what? more than 3 times a number. So we're starting with 3 times a number. We've got 52 more than that. Okay. So again, writing it this way is not wrong, but this is best.
Right.
Right. Okay with this expression? All right, let's take a look at
Give me a
another one.
second to take some notes.
You betcha. I get paid the same either way, whether I go really fast or really slow, I still get a glass of milk and a cookie at the end of the day. Unless I'm really bad, and then I just get a glass of sour milk. Okay. We good to go on? Lorenzo?
Yes.
Okay, super. How about this one? The sum of 4 and 6 times a number. So again, our key phrase, sum of times. So
Would it be 6x plus 4?
it would be 6x plus 4. Now, in this case, because it's not saying more than something, it's just saying the sum of this and that. If you wrote it this way, that would be perhaps a more literal in translation. But again, they're both correct. Okay. All right with that. Not trying to confuse you. Again, addition's commutative, so we can take those two expressions, the 6x and the 4, and interchange their order. Okay. All right. How about this? 69 less than twice a number. Now be careful. This is subtraction. So less than and twice. What are we going to call the number?
X.
X.
Okay. What would twice a number be?
2.
So it'd be 2x. But we want 69 less than 2x. So we're taking the 69 away from 2x. Okay. Let's do this. Eric,
Yeah.
let's say you've got $10. Okay.
Okay.
And I have $2 less than you. How much do I have?
8.
Yeah.
So do I have 2 minus 10 or 10 minus 2?
10 minus 2.
Right. So you've got 10, I have 2 less than 10. We're
Correct.
taking it away from that. Is that making sense? Why,
Yeah.
why it's that way and not switched around? Okay. Okay. Let's see here. 5 times a number decreased by 17. Okay, so the key words times and decreased by. What does times mean? What operation?
Multiply.
Multiplication.
Good. And decreased by what operation?
Subtraction.
So 5 times a number, the number would be x.
By 17.
Sorry.
Oh, I was just reading out loud to myself. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. All right. So 5 times the number decreased by 17. Okay. Let's take a look at this, a different one. 5 times a number subtracted from 17. All right, so now, how would you write that? What would
17 minus 5x.
Excellent, good job. Yeah. Again, subtraction is the tricky one. Beware the subtraction sign. Okay. Let's see here. Done that. So now let's take an example. We're going to translate it into mathematical symbols, which is what we've been doing. And then we're going to take it further, as you'll see. Suppose I've got, let's say it says find 47. You would never guess that penmanship is my forte, right? Okay. I will confess, first, the good news, I got an A in penmanship in first grade. That's when you just printed. The first C that I ever got in school, and I'm not saying this to brag, trust me, the first C I ever got was in writing, was cursive writing. There's a reason they call it cursive. And nowadays, I don't even know if they make, I don't even know if students learn cursive writing.
I think they took it out.
Yeah. Why did they wait so long? Oh, well, anyway, enough of that. Find 49 decreased by 15. Okay. So you'd have 49 minus 15. Well, let's see, what is 49 minus 15? 9 minus 5 is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. So the final answer is 34. Okay, with that. All right. Let's see here. We good to go on? Yep. All right. Let's see. Find the difference between let's see, 107 and 32. So 107 minus 32, 107 minus 32, 7 minus 2 is 5, 10 minus 3 is 7. Now, nobody said this earlier, and that's good, but I'm going to say it. When I talk about addition, sometimes people say, oh, the word and means addition. No, the word and, wait for it, it means and. Consider this, you could say the product of 4 and 2. What are you doing? You're multiplying, not because of the and, but because of the product. The difference of 6 and 1. What is the and doing? It's just linking the two, but the operation is the difference. So and means and. Now, this is like a really stickly thing. I probably will say it wrong. Most people say it wrong, but notice I wrote 107. I didn't write 107. I wrote 107. Okay. And tends to come in when we get into decimal numbers. But anyway, just sorry, that was my pet peeve. I just had to get it out there. All right. Any questions on this example? Okay. Let's see. 38 divided by 2. So 38 divided by 2. Again, or you could write it 38 divided by 2, or you could write it 38 divided by 2. Okay, probably the most useful form in this context is this one. 2 goes into 3 once, bring it down, subtract it, 1 remainder, bring down the next term, 2 goes into 18, 9 times. So your final answer would be 19. Anytime I'm doing something like this, if I'm going too fast and you're like, wait a minute, whoa, what happened there? Stop me, throw up a red flag, don't throw up, but put up a red flag or whatever, get my attention, and I'm happy to go back and redo it. I don't work on salary at YBC. I work on commission. I get paid for every problem that I do. Okay, so the more questions you ask, the more money I make and my starving children can eat. So, don't feel bad like, oh, I keep asking all these questions. That's what I'm here for. Okay. All right. Let's see here. How about this? 2 divided into 14. 2 divided into 14. 2 divided into 14. 2 divided into 14. Divided into and divided by are not the same. So again, division is tricky. Division is not commutative. 14 divided by 2 does not equal 2 divided by 14. Multiplication is commutative. 3 times 4 equals 4 times 3. So you can add 2 numbers in any order. You can multiply 2 numbers in any order, but you can't reverse the order of subtraction or division without getting a wrong answer. I mean, there is an example, for instance, 4 divided by 4 does equal 4 divided by 4, but that's okay. You get what I'm saying? In general, it's not commutative. All right, let's see here. Triple. I'm always looking at my spelling. Spelling was not my forte either. I could memorize words and spit them back on a test. The next day, it's like, I don't know. So I think that's how you spell triple. Triple the number 7. So 3 times 7, which is what?
21.
21. Excellent. Okay. How about this one? 92. Where did it go? Oh.
7 times
Increased
10.
by 0. So how would you write that? 90, oops, not like that. 92 increased by 0. And what's the result of 92 plus 0?
92.
92. It's a good thing I can read lips, Courtney. I did see that you said 92. Okay. Excellent.
I have dogs and I don't want to be unmuted all the time because they'll bark.
But do they have the right answers? Can they bark?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Okay. Well, if they get the right answer, you let us know. Okay. All right. Let's see here. We've done that. We've done that. We've done that. How about this one? Find the total of 7 and 6. So what would you write first of all?
7 plus 6.
And then finally,
13.
what?
13.
13. Here you go. That's what I thought you said. 13. Okay. Excellent. Any questions about anything? Okay. I have one more thing that I just need to get off my chest. It may not have anything to do with anything, but I just have to get this off my chest because it really bothers me. I want to talk about spelling. Okay. F-O-U-R. You have 4 dogs. F-O-R. What are you laughing for? Okay, so there's 4 and 4, right? Now, what if you were to say, there were 3 people ahead of me in line. I was 4th in line. Ivan the Conqueror says, go forth and conquer. Okay. You seen a pattern there. All right. So how would you think, based on this, that the word 40 should be spelled? Based on this, how would you think it should be spelled?
With a U.
Uh-huh. And is it? No. I lay awake at night, sometimes crying over this. But truly though, okay, when I'm writing a check, you know what a check is? You know, some of you remember that, your grandparents used to talk, a little paper thing that you wrote on, okay? And I'm writing 40, I always have to stop and think, is it like this? Is it like this? And I'm like, I don't know, just, okay, I feel better now, thank you. All right, so tonight's homework, you've got this section 1B. And again, if you have any questions, I'll be back this afternoon at 1:15 with an office hour. Or if you can't make the office hour and you have questions, email me and I'll either get back to you or you can request for me to do the problem on tomorrow's Zoom lesson. Otherwise, I will see you back here tomorrow at 10:30. Have a great rest of the day. I'm going to find the mouse and stop the recording. And